Be'ezrat Hashem, Naaseh v'Natzliach. I want to welcome you to another session of our Parashat Shavua learning. This week's parasha is Parashat Toldot. We are going to have an in-depth look into this concept of Hakol Kol YAAKOV v'Yadayim Yedei ESAV. The voice of Jacob in the hands of ESAV. It'll be a very interesting class. Before we get started, I'd like to give some honorable mentions and dedications to the following people. This class is in honor of Jacqueline Bat Alia and Tova Shindel Bat Alta. Also, the following Divrei Torah will be to the Ilu Nishmat of David ben Zohara, Yaniv ben Irina, Michelle ben Zohara, Aviv ben Vivi, Esther Bat Alia, Avraham Yoshua ben Sultana, Simon ben Alia, Mazal Bat Luna, Yitzhak ben Sevilla, Nisim ben Meir, Rachel bat Bela, and Yaakov ben Tamar. Also, should be to the Refuah Shelema of Amram ben Zohara, Lavi Rafael ben Olga, Daniel bat Mazal, and Miriam bat Pesi Penina. Also, this class will be to the Zivug Hagur Mishosh Nishmatam, to Inbal bat Jacqueline, Guy ben Dina, Sheina Hemshi bat Leah Gittel, Eli ben Shula, Yehudit bat Sarah Imenu, and Avigail bat Sarah Imenu. Also, this class will be to the general success of Avraham ben Daniel, Avraham ben Vailot Chaya, Yehuda Lev ben Tova Shindel, Desiree and Avia, and of course some special dedications to our Issachar and Zvulun sponsors. These are people that are connected to the class and have opted to sponsor it on a regular basis. We have, of course, the first one is the Joseph Dornbush and the Dornbush family. Hashem v'arech otchem, sameach otchem, for many, many years taking part of this partnership that we've had of supporting Torah. And that sushi that you see over there is also his handiwork, he even delivers it. Baruch Hashem. So Hashem v'arech otchem, sameach otchem, you, your wife, your children, and your entire family, and H&M Builders will be successful. Also, Judah Mendel, who's not only the pillar of this class, but also he's sponsoring tonight to the Hatzlacha of Joseph Dornbush and his wife as well. Also, good friends of our class, Dov Shmuel and Pesi Penina and families. Hashem v'arech otchem, sameach otchem. The loyalty, the continued support, the marketing, the promotion, your involvement. Truly appreciate you guys not only not coming and learning, but also supporting as well. And we also have our main sponsors of the night, good friends of ours, good fast friends, became very good friends very quickly. Karen and David Barman, doing this in memory of David's father, Marvin Barman, Zichrono Livracha, Moshe Lev ben Eliezer, who passed away on the 29th of Cheshvan, which is literally just a few minutes ago. Be'ezrat Hashem, this Torah class will be Leilu Nishmato, and I should have Tiyeh Nishmato Tzura B'Nefesh Tzura Chaim, and Be'ezrat Hashem will have a good soul ascension with the Divrei Torah that we're sending up. Also, there should be to the Refuah and Hashem v'arech otchem, sameach otchem, you, your children, B'sorot Tovot, and Be'ezrat Hashem nizkeh leB'sorot Tovot kulanu yachad. Also, Refuah Shelema and a Zivug to Oliver Israel YAAKOV ben Rivka. Baruch Hashem, when it takes 5 minutes just to do dedications, that means people are listening, people are watching, people are connected. Baruch Hashem. And also for all the people that are in attendance, it's not easy to come on a Monday night and get into your car and on time that you can be on your couch, not watching TV of course, but just on the couch, and to coming to learn Torah. Hashem v'arech otchem, sameach otchem, health, wealth, success, and a chodesh tov to you all. And I also want to take the opportunity to invite everybody here tonight to tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we have our monthly Rosh Chodesh class at the Yehudit Ben Shabbat residence. She happens to be sitting right here as well. So if you guys are coming, that's great. If you're just hearing about it for the first time, make sure before you leave you get on that list and join us. It's a big seudah, kiyad melech, meat, steak, chicken, a deluxe meal as they say, wine and drinks, and obviously a very, very good lesson. We've been doing it close to a year now. I welcome you all to join us. Okay, let's get started. Parashat Toldot begins with a very interesting pasuk, and we're sort of going to go on a little journey, a small little trip. We're going to have to go through about 3 or 4 different sections of the parasha before we eventually get to the point of the class that we want to get to extract the lesson that is not only important to know in general. This is, as a Jew, you must have this lesson under your belt, but it's also a lesson for the time that we're in right now. I'm trying to make it a point not to make every class about the war, not to make every class about the Arabs and the Jews, but it's very tough when you have ESAV, Ishmael. It's like a low-hanging fruit. It's so easy to connect the dots. So forgive me if we go there maybe once or twice in this lesson. Let's get started. It starts with the pasuk, Ve'ele toldot Yitzhak ben Avraham. These are the offsprings of Yitzhak, the son of Avraham. Avraham holid et Yitzhak. Avraham gave birth to Yitzhak. Stop. It already doesn't make sense. These are the offsprings of Yitzhak, the son of Avraham. I'm supposed to hear right now the names of his children, the offspring. It doesn't go into that. It goes into a completely different subject. Avraham holid et Yitzhak. Avraham gave birth to Yitzhak. Stop. Doesn't make sense. Men don't give birth to children. Women give birth to children, right? Men don't give birth. Women give birth. So what's going on in this pasuk? So first things first. In last week's parasha, we know that Avraham did a seudah. Vaygamel hayeled. It's vaygamel hanar. He did a seudah celebrating about Yitzhak coming of age. The opinion that he was 2, there's an opinion that he was 13. And during the seudah, they had all the dignitaries of that time. Now, Avraham, sort of like showing the world, take a look at my son that came from Sarai Menu, is also saying, take a look at my inheritor. Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like that news? Ishmael. Ishmael started a rumor that in reality, Yitzhak is not the son of Abraham. Remember that time when Avimelech kidnapped Sarah?
Yes.
That's his son. Oh, the rumor mill, right? Everybody starts to gossip. So comes the Torah and says, no, Ele toldot Yitzhak ben Avraham. He is the son of Abraham and not the son of Avimelech.
They look the same even.
One of the things that Hashem had to create is that Abraham and Yitzhak looked identical. There was a problem with that as well. If you remember, we learned in Midrash Rabbah, I'll just throw it in as a bonus right now. Midrash Rabbah says that Abraham horid zikna la'olam. Abraham is the one that brought old age to the world. Meaning, up until the moment that Abraham spoke to God about old age, everybody looked the same and didn't age. So he said, it's not proper that when I walk into the room, they look at me and they look at my son, we look identical, and they don't know who to stand up for. Or that sometimes Yitzhak walks into a room and they give him honors if he's Abraham. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, you know what, you have a good point. The next day, Abraham woke up and he was all white. And Abraham horid zikna la'olam. Because they looked the same. Not only looked the same, even that because of their age, Hashem had to change it as such. We go to the second part of the pasuk. Avraham holid et Yitzhak. How is it possible that Abraham gave birth to Yitzhak? Very easy. If we go to the Akedah, in Akedat Yitzhak, we'll go to that famous Midrash, by way of Kabbalah, by way of Orach Chaim HaKadosh, that they say that Yitzhak, at the age of 37, was not able to bear children. The way that his neshama, the way that his soul was wired, is that he couldn't bear children. So part of the process of what happened in Akedat Yitzhak is that his neshama went up to the heavens. They worked on it over there where he could actually bear children. And once he got to the point where he can bear children, his zivug in the shamayim came down, which is Rivka, and he stayed there for 3 years. So when in this week's parasha, last week's parasha, when Rivka and Yaakov meet, you can see that the age tells the story. because Akedat Yitzchak was at 37. They met 3 years later when he came down from the heavens at 40. And how old was Rivka? She was 3. So in order for him to get this second chance on life, the ability to not only live but to give children, who did that? Abraham. By going to Akedat Yitzchak, they said that he nicked him with a knife a little bit. Parcha nishmato, his soul left him. And during that whole process, he had a rewiring of the soul. So it says, Abraham holid et Yitzchak. Abraham gave birth to Yitzchak, meaning like a spiritual rebirth. He's the one that gave him the ability to now, for the progeny to continue. Now there will be an Abraham, there is an Yitzchak, and there will be a Yaakov. Why? Because of the process of Akedat Yitzchak. Furthermore, it says, פסוק כ"א, ויעתר יצחק לשם לנוכח אשתו, כי עקרה היא. It says that Yitzchak was praying facing his wife because she was barren. So basically what we have over here, we have a 40-year-old, let's see, ויצחק בן 40 שנה. Yitzchak is 40 years old when he got married. And it seems that at that particular point, actually no, he was way older than that. I believe it was 20 years later. 20 years later is 23 and 60. When Yitzchak was 60 and Rivka was 23, they were 20 years together and no children. She was barren. So they got to the point, hey, we want children. How are we going to continue? How are Bnei Israel going to come into reality? So they get together into a room. They both take a corner, the north corner and the southern corner, and they start to pray. And it says, "Vayater Yitzchak Lashem lenochach ishto." He used a special tefillah called Vayatar, ki akarahi, because she was barren. Vayater lo Hashem v'atar Rivka ishto. So we see that she was barren. They prayed together, and all of a sudden, in the same pasuk, she already was able to bear children. She gets pregnant, and she has a very, very hard time with this pregnancy. ויתרצצו הבנים בקרבה, ותאמר, אם כן, למה זה אנוכי? ותלך לדרוש את השם. So she's got 2 kids, two babies in her belly. She doesn't know that they're twins. She thinks it's one. And she says, Im ken, lama ze anochi. She said, if I knew that the pregnancy was going to be like this, I would have never done it. Im ken, lama ze anochi. So she said, what was the thing that she was like baffled about? The Midrash says, she would walk by a place of idol worship and the baby would kick. And she'd walk by a yeshiva and the baby would kick also. She says, no, I can't. There's no way that there's a child in me that's a 50-50 baby. A child that wants to have avodah zarah and also wants to go to the yeshiva. She couldn't. It drove her nuts. She's like, is that what's going on inside me? Lama ze anochi. So what does she do? Vatelech lidrosh et Hashem. She goes to the yeshiva of Shem and Ever and she tells them what's going on. So vayomer Hashem la shne goyim bebitnech ושני לאומים בין מעייך ייפרדו, ולאום אלום יאמץ ורב יעבוד צעיר. He reveals to her, way before they had ultrasound, that she's got twins. You got 2 children. One is a tzaddik, and one is a rasha. 2 different nations are going to come out. שתי לאומים, שתי גויים, ייפרדו ממעייך. They'll be separate. They'll be complete opposites. And once she understood that it's not just one that is split in his personality, where one time he wants to be holy and one time he wants to be a rasha, but it's 2 different ones, 2 different children in Bikner. I want to read, so again, I'll read a Rashi over here, just so we can get some good Rashis under our belt. This is a famous Rashi, you should definitely learn it. Shnei goyim bebitnech says First of all, it says that she couldn't tolerate that one was mefarkes bebet midrash and one mefarkes bebet avodah zarah. She couldn't stand that split personality. Rashi says shnei lo'imim mima'ich yiparedu, meaning that they're going to get split up. Zerish lerish'o zeletum'o. One is going to go to his wickedness and to his impurity. And furthermore, it says, zelerish'o, one's going to go to be wicked. The other one letum'o, that one's going to be holy. And then he adds something incredible over here. Keshezeh kam, ze nofel. When ESAV is up, Yaakov is down. And when Yaakov is up, ESAV is down. Which basically means we have a seesaw relationship with ESAV. We can't both be up. When the Jews are up, automatically, like a law of nature, ESAV is down. And vice versa. So if you ever want to see where we are, if we're down, guaranteed that the ESAV's children are up. And vice versa. When we go up, they're going to go down as well. Know that as a rule. Let's continue to Pasuk Chav Zayin. ויגדלו הנערים, they grow up. ויהי עשיו איש יודע ציד איש שדה. Esav was a hunter. ויעקב איש תם יושב אוהלים. And Yaakov was a good boy, sat in the ohel and studied Torah all day long. Rashi says something beautiful over here. Really good solid Rashis in this week's parasha. Pasuk Chav Zayin, Rashi says, כל זמן שהיו קטנים, לא היו ניכרים במעשיהם. Up until this age that we're talking about in this pasuk, they were young. And you can't tell the difference between them. If they're good, bad, evil, tzaddik, you can't. At that age, they were almost like identical. ואין אדם מדקדק בהם מה טיבם. And nobody's looking at Yaakov or Esav to say who's better, who's worse, who's the good one, who's the bad one. They're just kids, right? Kids playing. כיוון שנעשו בני י"ג שנה, but the minute that they turned 13, זה פירש לבתי מדרשות, וזה פירש לעבודה זרה. As soon as they became of age, the age of 13, one guy went to learn Torah, Yaakov, and the other one went to the house of idolatry, Avodah Zarah, that is Esav. As a matter of fact, on the day of his bar mitzvah, Bereshit Rabbah recounts 5 sins that Esav did on that day. אמר רבי אלעזר, צריך אדם להיטפל בבנו עד י"ג שנה.
I have a question. Moses was the one who got the Torah. So how could Jacob be studying Torah?
So it's a very good question. I usually take the questions at the end, but because you're my friend, I'll answer. The answer is that the Torah was always available to certain spiritual giants. And the first ones to have it was Shem, the son of Noah. And he opened up a yeshiva with another gentleman called Ever. And Shem and Ever taught the Torah before it came into the world to Avraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov. Avraham kept the entire Torah. So did Yitzchak and Yaakov. They kept Sukkot, they kept Pesach, they kept Shabbat, all of that. When it was officially given to Jewish people as a nation was during the time of Moshe.
Thank you.
And they have experience already with it.
Now, it says, Amar Rabbi Elazar, that a person has to take care of his child up until he's 13 years old. From 13 and on, he has to say, Baruch shepetarani me'onsho shel zeh. Thank you, Hashem, that you released me from the punishment of this one. Where did this come from? Where's the source for this? Esav. The thing that we say in the bar mitzvah, Baruch shepetarani me'onsho shel zeh, comes from Esav. The Yalkut Shimoni says, on the day of the bar mitzvah, look what Esav did. The pasuk says, ויזד יעקב נזיד, ויבוא עשיו מן השדה והוא עייף. So Yaakov was making a soup, lentil soup. Why was he making lentil soup? Because lentil soup is a soup that you eat when people mourn. When somebody passes away, you eat things that are round, like an egg, like lentil, to show the cycle of life. People come and people go. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Sometimes you're in this world, sometimes in the next world.
Without a corner. Round.
Straight.
Right. So he was cooking this because Abraham passed away. Abraham passed away, and he was cooking this food for mourning people. And Esav comes from the field, and he's tired. So Yalkut Shimoni brings, אותו יום נפטר אברהם אבינו, ויעקב בישל תבשיל של עדשים, שהוא מאכל אבלים, לעבור את יצחק אביו. Same thing that I just said before, he brought this food in order to give it to his father Yitzchak. Furthermore, it says, באותו יום עבר עשיו 5 עבירות חמורות. That specific day, when Avraham Avinu passed away, he did five major sins. בעל נערה מאורסה, he took advantage of an engaged woman. הרג את הנפש, he murdered. כפר בתחיית המתים, כפר בעיקר וביזת הבכורה. He sort of went against the belief of God, went against the belief of reincarnation, and went against, and he forsaken the firstborn rights. He says, I have no reason for this, I have no need for this right, for this, let's call it a perk that I have for being firstborn. Ironically, if you make the calculation, we actually know that at this very moment, he was actually 15 years old. Why? Because if you make the calculation with their ages, we know that Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov actually lived together for a period of 15 years. Right? That's why it's also very, very good if you have an opportunity, if certain people are alive, that you have a father and a son, a father and a grandfather that are alive. Make sure that you learn Torah together. Make sure that you're able to, sit on Shabbat and do some Parashat Shavua, or take upon yourself to do like a Daf Yomi or something. Why? Because Huta Meshulash Lo Mahar Yunutak. It said that when you have a three-way connection that it's in Torah, it's going to stay. The family is going to stay in Torah for a lifetime or forever, for eternity. So you want to make sure you can do it. So we see that Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov had that for 15 years. But I just told you it was their bar mitzvah. So make up your mind. Is it bar mitzvah 13 or is it 15? So it says over here, רשעותו של עשיו החלה כבר בהיותו בן 13. He started to become wicked in his bar mitzvah at 13. But what happened? He had to wait till Abraham passes away, which was 2 years later. And the minute Abraham passed away, he acted on all his wickedness. Now, here, remember, a few weeks ago we said we don't want to learn the essence of Ishmael. Go to the beginning of the story, you'll see all his characteristics, all his traits in one. Here we see we're going to be able to learn the characteristics or the essence or the ofi or the actual character traits of Esav. Who's Esav? The nation of Edom. Who's Edom? Those are the Christians or the Americans or the Europeans. They all come from the progeny of Esav. Here is their essence. In the pasuk it says, "Vayigdelu hana'arim ve'i Esav ish yodei tzayid ish sadeh." Notice that when describing Esav, they use the word ish 2 times. Vayi Esav ish yodei tzayid, he was a hunter. Ish sadeh, a man of the field. Why do you have to use the word ish twice? As a matter of fact, if you continue to the pasuk, VeYaakov ish tam yoshev alim, and Yaakov it says ish tam yoshev alim, only 1 time. So why, when it comes to Esav, you use the word ish 2 times, and when it comes to Yaakov once? So they tell us that Esav was a two-face. He has a two-face. He shows you one version of himself, but on the inside, he's somebody else. How do we see that? Because even though that he did all these crazy sins, he murdered, he raped, he went against God, when he came home, you know what he did? He puts on a shtreimel. He puts on himself those, like the fancy hat. He comes in dressed like a baba. He has the beautiful shoes, and he comes to his father and tells him, "Abba, how do you make maaser on salt? Well, you just murdered. You just murdered somebody. You just took somebody's wife and raped her. You're asking your father how to tithe salt?" He's a two-face. He's one thing on the outside and one thing on the inside. He says, this is also the reform movement. When it started, the reform and the conservative movement, part of their motto when they first came out is Heye Yehudi bevetecha, be a Jew at your home, ve'adam betzetecha, but be like a proper human being when you go out. Meaning Judaism in the house, outside like a goy. It says in Bet HaMidrash tnai kmo Yehudi, kmo Talmid Chacham, b'chutz tnai kmo goy. When you come to Chabad on a Monday night to learn Torah, be a tzaddik. But when you go outside, don't forget to go to the non-kosher restaurant and order just the salad and just the fish. Act like a goy, right? So it can't be two-faced. That's ESAV. That's ESAV. Aval YAAKOV, ish echad. YAAKOV, you see the word ish is only one time because he's not two-faced. He is one way. Ish tam yoshev ohalim. All the time, all time in all places, he is a true, honest Jew. So we can see over here now a little bit of a connection. First connection is Rivka, the one thing that she didn't want a 50-50 son. A son that's half holy, half wicked. That's the one thing she didn't want, right? She was like, she was so calm when she said, one will be wicked, one will be holy. I think about it, if I got that message, I don't know if I would be so calm with it, right? I don't know if I would be so calm knowing that I have one Rasha and one Tzaddik. But she was okay. She's like, now I can go home. Sure, it's okay. As long as I have Yaakov, I'll be fine. What about ESAV? Right? So there is a way of chinuch for Reshaim as well. Who knew that chinuch? Who knew how to educate a wicked son? His father Yitzchak. How do we know that? The Pesukim says that Rivka loved Yaakov and Yitzchak loved ESAV. So even though that they were completely polar opposites as brothers, the parents didn't forsake them. They actually had a way of chinuch for both of them. Furthermore, we see that what the mother didn't want to have a child that's 50-50, ESAV came like that anyways. He was what? Showing himself as holy to his father, asking him halachic questions, and then all of a sudden, behind, when nobody's watching, he comes out to be completely wicked. Another insight that I want to share with you. Just want to make sure I have this here. If we go to the nation that comes from ESAV, Romi, right? And again, the Gemara touches on it, Chazal tell us, but I'm just going to give you in a broad stroke. Who are the children of ESAV? It's the Christians, it's the Americans, it's the Europeans, it's the Germans, all of them are considered to be ESAV's children. It says, Matzinu etzel bnei ESAV, something common that we find in the children of ESAV. A common thing that they used to do is that they used to wear a wreath around their forehead. Like the Caesars, like a wreath of flowers, they would put around their forehead, around their head. Where? Around the brain, right? Around the head. In order to symbolize that the most important things in the world, hem hanaot hagashmiyot va'yofi hachitzoni. To symbolize that the most important thing in the life of the child of ESAV is the pleasures of the world, and materialism, and external beauty. just like the flowers have a good smell and they're beautiful, similarly is the lifestyle that we want to lead. And the motto or the slogan that they followed as a nation, Echol v'shtu ki machar namut. Eat and drink and be merry because tomorrow we die. Right? Just like ESAV. What happened with the soup? He says, Haliteni na. He says, before I give you the soup, some of your Bechorah, who cares about the Bechorah? You're talking to me about Bet HaMikdash that's going to be here in I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of years, and I'll have a position as a firstborn to work in Bet HaMikdash. Who cares about that? I'll sell you out for soup today. And that's what he did. Echlu v'shitu ki machar namut. Who cares about tomorrow? Give me what I want today. But we know when you take this wreath, what happens to it? What happens to this beautiful flowery crown that you wear? After a few days, it crumbles and it starts to wilt, and all its beauty goes away. And what do they have to do again? They have to make another one, right? Which also dries up, wilts away, and they have to make another one. And this is the life of the Gentiles. They're constantly looking for pleasures, new pleasures. They're never satisfied with one. Meaning, oh, look at this beautiful crown, look at all the beautiful pleasures, look at the beautiful vices, desires that I'm going through. I'm sick of it. I want something new. I want something new. I want something new. It's always about something new. That is their lifestyle. What's the difference with the Jewish people? He says the Jewish people are like the rose. Keshoshana ben achochim, ken ra'ayati ben habanot. When it came to flowers, we don't wear the wreath. The flower that we're connected to is the rose. Why? Rabbi Chizkiah says, Ma shoshana yesh ba 13 alim. He says, if you take a look at a rose has 13 petals. כך כנסת ישראל יש בה י"ג המידות הנמשכות מהשם יתברך. Similarly, the Jewish people have 13 attributes like God that is found inside of them. Meaning we draw from, what do we draw from? We draw from Hashem. The 13 ways that Hashem carries himself, that's how we emulate ourselves. And this is why Hashem is so proud and praises the Jewish people. Especially when it comes to the age of 13, that he gets the lesson of the 13 petals that's in the rose. How to emulate God in 13 different ways. Two different types of mindset. One mindset is what's the latest desire, what's the latest fad, what's the latest physical pleasure that I'm going after. Where as Jews, we don't go after the physical pleasures. We like to emulate God in the 13 midot. That was interesting. Because at 13, we see that the difference between ESAV and Yitzhak was noticeable. At 13, that's when we start to see the difference between the two brothers. There's a mashal. There's a parable that I want to share with you that was very interesting as well. There's a parable about a baby eagle that fell from its high nest in the trees into a chicken coop. And that little eagle didn't know that he was an eagle. He thought he was just like all the chickens that were around him, the little chicks. And he grew up with them. And he would eat with them, and he would drink with them, and he would be with them. However, he quickly saw that he's very different from the rest of the chickens. He's an eagle, he's not a chicken. And he started to see that his wings are growing bigger, and that he's also a lot stronger than them. And as a matter of fact, when they flap their wings, they're just moving forward. When he flaps his wings, he's going, they're moving sideways. When he flaps his wings, he's flying up. And the more he flapped, he saw that he was actually able to elevate himself out of the chicken coop. From the moment that he discovered that he was different, from the moment that he discovered that he is able to get out of this coop, he started to fly high over the coop, and he no longer came back to the chicken coop. He had no longer a connection to it, and he left those chickens on the ground while he was soaring the heights of the skies. What is the nimshal? What is the nimshal of this parable? So the Ben Ish Chai says, when the small eagle was young, he had no idea of his capabilities. And there wasn't a big difference between him and the other chickens. Just like Yaakov. Yaakov and ESAV, there's not a big difference between them until they mature to the age of bar mitzvah. And immediately you saw that Yaakov was on a whole different level. He was holier, he was innocent, he was tamim, and he loved the Torah, and he loved to learn it. That so much that he would sit in Bet HaMikdash and he would not get up. Ish tam yoshevu alim. That he would sit all day long and learn, which is the complete opposite, polar opposite of his brother, ESAV, that was connected to things of the earth, that things of the land, meaning the materialism, everything that has to do with the gashmiut. And he could not disconnect himself from the gashmiut, from everything that is worldly and mundane. Yaakov is the one that was able to elevate himself spiritually to the heights that he was able to. He was able to reach through the learning of the Torah. Now, the differences between Yaakov and ESAV, or when I say ESAV, I mean Edom. When I say Edom, I mean Romi. When I mean Romi, talking about you have to imagine the world split into threes. The three major players. There's the Yehudim, there's the Ishmaelim, and then there's the Edom, right? ESAV, Ishmael, and Israel. Over here we're going to see the beginning of anti-Semitism. The root of anti-Semitism is in this week's parasha as well. Yitzchak wanted to bless ESAV, and Rivka wanted that the blessing will go to Yaakov. Imagine this household. Look what's going on over here. We go to Perek Chafhei, Pasuk Kafchet. We have a household where the parents are split. Vayehav Yitzchak et Esav, kitzayid befiv. Yitzchak loved his son Esav because he had a way with words. Verivka ohevet et Yaakov. Rivka loves her son Yaakov. Very interesting because they use the word vayehav. Love, meaning this is a genuine, real connection that each one has to a child. So what do you do when the mother loves one and the father loves another one? And we know that one is a tzaddik and one is a rasha. Let's see how they navigate that. So the question here is, if Yitzhak wants to give the blessing to Esav, let him do it. Rivka says, no, don't give the blessing to Esav. The bracha that you want to give to Esav, I want you to give it to Yaakov. What's the problem there? Why didn't you just let Yitzhak do what he wants to do? As a matter of fact, couldn't he have blessed both of them? Why was she so concerned about that particular bracha, that specific bracha that he wants to give to Esav, that bracha should go to Yaakov? So we did a whole class on it, and I'm not going to go all into it, but a lot of the storylines in Bereshit have to do with the tikkun of Adam and Chava. It says, when it comes to Adam and Chava, we know that Adam got cursed because of Chava, because of the original sin. Okay, and in this story of Parashat Toldot, if I change the names, you'll see who the characters are. In Parashat Toldot, Yaakov is Adam, Rivka is Chava, and Esav is the Nachash. So let's go back to the original story. The Nachash convinced Chava to eat from the tree that she wasn't supposed to, and she convinced her husband, and they got a curse because of it. What's the tikkun? In this week's parasha, Rivka is Chava, and Yaakov is Adam, and Esav is the Nachash. So you almost have to like change the faces in order to understand what's going on. But I'm just going to give you a little snippet over here as a bonus, and I'm going to move on for it. It says, Rivka tells Yaakov to go and bring the matamim, bring the food, so she can bake. She wants that she can bake it for her for Yitzhak, so you can get the blessing. Then she tells him, "Va'ata beni shma bekoli." He tells her, "Now, my son, listen to my voice. La'asher ani metzava otcha, that I'm commanding you." Now, why would that be? Why would she have to listen to the voice? So he says, Yaakov, Yaakov, who is Adam, right? Says, wait, Chava, wait, Rivka, wait, Ima, wait, my previous wife from a previous Gilgul. I don't want to do it. I don't want to listen to you. Last time I listened to you, I got cursed. She says, maybe he's going to touch me, he's going to think that I'm a cheater, I'm a liar, I'm a crook. And you'll bring upon me a curse. He already knows from last time. He doesn't repeat it again. So what does she tell him? She tells him, Alai kilalticha beni. He says, Vatomer lo imo. She tells him, Alai kilalticha beni. Don't worry. If there's going to be any curse, I'm going to take it upon myself. You're not going to get punished like last time. This time I'm going to take it upon myself. So why is this big deal that Rivka doesn't want Yaakov, Esav, to get the blessing? Because Esav is the snake, and he tricked her last time. She has to do the tikkun of Adam and Chava, so that's why she's pushing so much for Yaakov to get this bracha. One explanation. She wants to rectify what she ruined when she was Chava. Otzar Pshat brings a few other reasons. I just like one that I saw over there to share with you. It says that Yitzhak knew this was going to happen. He knew that his wife is going to try to trick him, because Yitzhak at this point was blind. He wasn't able to see. So when you're blind, your other senses become more sensitive. So he says, you know what? In order for me not to get tricked, I'm going to go to Esav. He says, Esav, listen, when you come back, I'm going to have like a code with you. Okay? There's two things that I'm going to check. One, I'm going to check your body. I'm going to make sure that it's you. You're the hairy one, right? So I'm going to check, I'm going to touch you to make sure that you're the hairy one, because I can't see you, so I'm going to have to feel you. But then, you know what you should do? Change your voice. Change your voice, and because you change your voice, I know that it's not real, that it's you. That's going to be our code. So he tells him, Yitzchak sikem im Esav sheishaneh kolo kekol Yaakov. Now, because they're twins, he was able to change his voice like the voice of Yaakov. So what happens over here? Yaakov comes with his voice. So it sounds like Esav wanted to change his voice. And the hairy arms or the hairy neck, Rivka already took care of that she put on him the skin of the ezim. And she was able to do it. Now, we come to a very, very special pasuk, which is going to be the focus of our lesson. We go to Perek Chav Zayin, pasuk Chav Zayin. It says over there, after this whole thing where she dresses him up with the skin of the goats, and she puts on him the special jacket of Esav, which, by the way, happened to be the jacket or the
Skin.
not the skin. They called it the Bigdei Mahmadim of Adam Arishon, the ones that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created from him. And Esav had his hands on them. How did he get these special clothing, which, by the way, had the smell of Gan Eden? And also, once you put it on, all the animals come to you automatically, right? Because it had the smell of Gan Eden. And by the way, when Adam Arishon put it, that's how he was also able to he was able to give the names to all the animals. And this jacket also was passed down to Noah. Noah also put it on when the animals came to the boat. How did they come? He put on the jacket. They smelled the smell, and they came to the boat. And later on, this jacket was passed on to it was taken that Nimrod stole it from Shem, and ESAV challenged Nimrod. He tells him, you're known as a big hunter, but you're nothing without the jacket. Nimrod fell for the trick. He said, I'm nothing without the jacket? Okay, he takes off the jacket. ESAV kills him, and he took the jacket. ESAV killed Nimrod. And he took this jacket. This jacket happened to be now in the closet. So, because when he went to the Sadeh, when he went to go hunting, he didn't wear it. So now this jacket is on Yaakov. The leather is, the leather of the hairy of the arms and the neck is on him, and he's walking now with the food to come to Yitzchak Avinu. And he says, "Vayigash vayishak lo vayireach et reach begadav vayvarecheu, vayomer re'eh reach beni reach sadeh asher be'echo Hashem." So he comes and he smells him, and he comes to bless him, and he says, "Wow, look at the smell of my son. My son smells like Gan Eden." My question to you, how does Yitzchak know the smell of Gan Eden? Beautiful. He was there. Okay, that Yitzchak, he went up for Gan Eden to 3 years. That's how he knows the smell of Gan Eden. So he says, it strengthens the learning that we did earlier. And it says over there, after he checks him, he says, Hakol here. What did they say? So when he says this, he says it, Hakol kol Yaakov, vayadayim yedei ESAV. Yitzchak says something is off over here. I hear the voice of Yaakov, but I'm touching into the yadayim of ESAV. Hakol kol Yaakov, vayadayim yedei ESAV. And he goes ahead and he gives him the blessing. It's a big blessing. I was going to make the whole lesson actually about the blessing, but I changed my mind. But just so you can understand the blessing that he got, "Vaytancha Elokim mital hashamayim shamnei haaretz v'rov dagam v'tirosh ya'avducha amim v'yishtavu lecha elumim v'gevir lachicha v'yishtachavu lecha b'nei imecha orerecha arur u'mvarechecha baruch." I'll read it in English just very quickly. "And may God give you the dew of the heavens and the fatness of the earth and the abundant grain and wine. People will serve you and regimes will prostrate themselves to you. Be a lord unto you, kingsmen, and your mother's sons will prostrate themselves to you. Cursed be they who curse you, and blessed be they who bless you." I have a little personal story over here. One time I was, I haven't said this story in like years. Maybe it's good to repeat it. I see new people. I remember about like maybe 20 years ago. I was working for a company where we would set up like these booths in Walmart parking lots, helping the senior citizens sign up for Humana healthcare. All right, I was going around the country doing that, and I was like in Texas. But deep in Texas, not like Dallas or Houston or like deep, like, cow country. And one time, like I was there, and I would introduce myself. I would say, "What's your name?" I say, "Sharone." Sharone. What kind of name is that? So I'm Israeli. "You're Jewish?" It's like they never saw a Jew. I said, "Yes, I'm Jewish." The next day, 6:30 in the morning, him and 20 of his family members are there, standing in front of me. And they're like, "There's Sharone." It's like, he's introducing me to like all his children. And they're all standing there and they're like, God bless you. Well, God bless you too. And they were so happy. You know why? From this pasuk. It says, whoever curses you will be cursed. But they cashed in on the end. The one that blesses you, Baruch. They literally wanted to cash in on this thing that whoever blesses a Jew is blessed in return. Side story. Okay. Now, after this beracha, ESAV gets extremely upset, and he's yelling and he demands a beracha, and Yitzchak tells him a very interesting beracha. He says, you're going to live by the sword. And you're going to be a servant to your brother. What a beracha. Huh? It says, what's Vaya Kasher Tarid? When the Jewish people go down in their service of Hashem, you're going to go up. Remember the seesaw? When we're up, they're down. When we're down, they're up. That's the way Hashem created it from Parashat Toldot. As a matter of fact, because of this, Pasuk Mem Aleph, Esav, Yaakov's evil brother, says, Vayomer Esav belibo, Yikrevu yemei evel avi, v'herga et Yaakov achi. He says, wait till my father passes away, and I'm going to wait till they're sitting the Shiva in mourning, and just when he's sitting mourning his father, that's when I'm going to kill him. By the way, why was that his master plan? What was the strength of Yaakov? The Torah. What happens when you mourn? You can't learn Torah. I'm stronger than him. Boom, I'll get him done. He said, that's the time that I'll get him. Furthermore, why did he say until his father passes away? Because we know that Esav had one big mitzvah, which is what? Kibud Av Va'em. So because he had the mitzvah of Kibud Av, let's say, he says, I don't want to do this while my father's alive. I'm going to do it from there. From here, we learn a halacha. There's a halacha. Just like you can't turn on fire on Shabbat is a halacha, right? Just like you can't eat meat and cheese is a halacha. One of the most interesting halachot in the Jewish religion, Esav soneh leYaakov. There's a halacha, a law, that Esav hates Yaakov. The Christians, the Edomim, Romi, whether you like it or not, in their DNA, embedded in their essence, is that they hate the Jews. This is the birth of anti-Semitism. I'll continue. Esav's advantage is the seesaw effect, when only one can be up and the other one down. But I want to take a deeper understanding on this concept of Hakol Kol Yaakov. What is Hakol Kol Yaakov? Hakol Kol Yaakov. When the voice of Yaakov, what was Yaakov doing? Learning Torah, praying. When Yaakov is toiling or busy in Avodat Hashem, that is the power of the Jew. Hakol Kol Yaakov. However, Vayadayim Yedei Esav, Esav's hand becomes strong and overpower us when we don't. So there it is. The success of the Jewish people when we face Edom, we're not talking about Ishmael, we're not talking about the Arabs, that was 2 weeks ago. Maybe at the end of the lesson I'll link Esav and Ishmael anyways to the lesson. But let's just talk about Esav. When Esav becomes our enemy, when America, when the Europeans, when the Germans, when whatever, all these people hate the Jew, not a problem. I know how to beat you. Not even necessarily with weaponry. It says, when Hakol Kol Yaakov, when the Jewish people are learning Torah, when the Jewish people are learning, the hands of Esav cannot be strong. Because remember, it's seesaw. It's seesaw. But when we're not learning, Yedei Esav becomes strong. Remember, it says, you live by the sword. You know why it says live by the sword? If you ever noticed, the whole thing with Christians was what? What does a sword look like? A sword looks like an upside down cross. They come by the name of Yoshka. Oh, convert to Christianity. Oh, you don't convert, you don't cut it. They turn the cross, they turn it over, they sharpen it up, and they turn it to a sword and they kill. You know how many Jews died because of Christianity? Nowhere near to the numbers of what we're dealing with the Muslims. Nowhere near. Hakol kol YAAKOV. When we're praying, when we're learning, we win. If we're not learning, if we're not praying, they automatically become stronger. I want to share with you a Midrash Rabbah. It says, you know Bilam, we have Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is the ultimate Navi of the Jewish people. The ultimate Navi to ever be in the world is Moshe Rabbeinu on the side of Kedusha. Hashem has a unique way of running this world. Midah keneged midah. Zeh la'umat zeh bara HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's no such thing of having a Moshe Rabbeinu on Kedusha if you don't have the complete opposite that's on the same level on the side of Tum'ah. Who is exactly like Moshe Rabbeinu on the side of Tum'ah? Bilam. Meaning the whole world, the way Hashem created it, if there's going to be a day, there has to be a night. If there's hot, there's going to be cold. If there's going to be joy, there's going to be pain. Everything is a polar opposite. So even when it comes to a person like Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem had to create somebody just like him on the side of Tumah to keep things fair. I like it. It's Emet. So what does it say over there about Bilam? It says that all the philosophers of the world came to Bilam ben Beor and they asked him, Amulo, he says, do you think we somehow can attach ourselves to the Jewish nation? Bilam answers, if you ever want to defeat the Jews, or if you want to have some sort of an effect on the Jews, first thing you need to check is the shuls, the synagogues. Go take a look at the Betei Midrashot, the yeshivas. If you're going to see little kids over there learning Torah, praying, saying Tehillim, and atem yecholim mizdavek b'ayim, you can't do nothing to them. If they got little children learning Torah or praying, you can't touch them. They're invincible. That's what their father promised them. Who's their father? Yitzchak. What did Yitzchak say? Hakol kol YAAKOV. He put into play a law, a rule, that as long as the Jewish people are praying or learning Torah, they're on top. Seesaw. But if not, ESAV goes up. So he tells them, if you're going to go to a shul and you see that there's kids over there that are learning, kids over there that are praying, don't touch, you can't approach them. בזמן שקולו של יעקב מצוי בבתי כנסיות, אין הידיים ידי ESAV. The ידי ESAV are powerless. Why is this interesting? Because תינוקות של בית רבן. What is תינוקות של בית רבן? Those are kids that are under the age of bar mitzvah. Under the age of bar mitzvah, it says in the Gemara, in Masechet Shabbat, on the 119th page on the second side. Amar Yesh Lakish mipir Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya. En ha'olam mitkayen ela bishvil haval tinokat shel bet rabban. He says that the whole world doesn't exist, or the whole world stands on the vapor of the air that comes out of the mouths of the young children that learn Torah or are praying. The whole world. So you know those little kids that you don't see in shul nowadays? You ever go to shul nowadays? Looks like an old age home. I travel all over. I'm telling you. I travel all over. Baruch Hashem, I've been to a lot of communities. I can tell you there's practically no children in shul. It's so rare to see children. Like you go around, you see 50 and up, it's like a club for 50-year-olds and up. We have to bring back the children back to shul.
You should come to Shabbat here.
You should come to Shabbat by my shul. We're packed with kids, but I'm saying as a statistic, when I go around, it's like an old age home.
Sharone, just sorry about that, but to come to Netive Ezra 5:30 in the morning, Shabbat morning. We're going to sell out kids, just kids.
I love to hear that this is a reality.
And they're
Like
running the show right there.
But it's true. What you're saying is a very.
I'm telling you what I've seen when I go around. I'm telling you my research. My shul, Baruch Hashem, kids are there. We have at least we're like maybe 50 to 70 kids every Shabbat with learning programs, with Gemarot, with Mishnayot. Baruch Hashem, it's thriving. That they are holding up the world. But when you go around, you're like, where's the children? Where's the 16-year-olds? Where are the 19-year-olds? Where are the 20-year-olds? Where are the 30s? It's like there's like a chunk missing. You know, like you gotta put a poster outside of the shul, missing or wanted. A Jew between the age of 20 to 40. Where are you? Nevertheless, we're talking about the kids that are underneath the age of 13. Proud of your shul, proud of your shul, proud of my shul, that we are educating our children and to come to shul and to participate because they're holding up the world. Furthermore, it says, why would that be? What's so special about these kids? They're troublemakers, right? All they want is candy, 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 right? How can these kids hold up the world, right? Look what he says. Because the child is so pure and is sinless. He wants candy. It's not a sin to want candy, right? But in reality, they're not making the sins of adults, right? Zach v'naki, pure and clean, free of sin. So a neshama that is free of sin and has Torah coming out of its mouth, or prayer that's coming out of its mouth, has ma'ala yetera gam milimud Torah shanu lomdim. He says it's on a much higher level from the Torah learning that we're learning. By the way, you know who's having this conversation? Abaya and Rava. You know what's Abaya and Rava? They could bring back the dead. Birds would fly over their head and they turn into barbecue. We're talking about Abaya and Rava saying that the hevel, the voice coming out of the children, is more powerful than the learning of these Tanaic rabbis. Could you imagine? I'm going to give you another layer. Why do they say that the whole world is standing on Hevlam shel Tinokot shel Bet Havan? Shehem יכולים לימוד כל היום מה שאין כן הגדולים. He says they have the ability to learn all day long, unlike the adults that sometimes find it difficult to learn as such. And it says over there in Mishle, Velashon raka tishbar garem. He says a soft tongue will be able to break this thing called garem. Garem is like a tough piece of wood. So what does that mean, Mishle? What is Shlomo HaMelech telling us over here? He says, Shelashon shiraka yechola lishbor etzem. A soft tongue can break a bone. How is it possible that a soft tongue can break a bone? Keep in mind, a soft tongue is made from flesh. Bone is like wood. So how can something soft break something that's so tough? The Shul Chazal, they said, Shakavana lashon shel hatinokot, the tongue of the babies. Shehiraka, it's a soft tongue. And when they learn Torah and when they pray, halashon shelahem shoveret et hatzarot hachazakot ka'etzem. They're able to get rid of all the troubles and the calamities of the Jewish people that are tough as wood. Listen to this. In the merit of the Torah of the children, mitbatlim, nullified, kol hagzerot haraot, all the harsh decrees. We are right now in a harsh decree. There's no question about it. We're in the heart of a harsh decree from the Shamayim. We're still in it. It's like a sword came out from the sheath, and Hashem didn't put the sword back yet. The sword is still out, and we're still in danger. How do you nullify this decree? Havla shel tinokot shel Bet Havan. Bring the kids to shul. Let them say Tehillim. Learn with them in the house. It's so important. It changes reality. Mamash today. As a matter of fact, it says, remember what Mishle said, that Lashon Raka, the soft tongue of the children, Tishbar Garem, will break the bone, will break the etzem. He says, Rashet Tevot, what's Tishbar Garem? If you take the word Tishbar, Tav, Shin, Besh, Tresh, and Garem, Gimel, Resh, Mem, it spells out תינוקות של בית רבן, גזרות רעות מבטלים. That the children that come to shul and pray and learn have the ability to nullify harsh decrees. Hakol kol Yaakov. Put this under your belt. We have a power, a superpower that is relevant for today. You today in your house can right now change the world, the reality of the world, the situation of the world. How? Activate Shakol Kol Yaakov. When your voice is in prayer, when your voice is praying, or your children even more so, we can change reality. If you look in the pasuk, it says Hakol Kol Yaakov. The word kol is usually spelled Kuf Vav Lamed. But in the Torah, it's spelled without a Vav. Kaf Lamed. What's the difference? Kal. Kal. So what's Kal? Kal is light. Right? So even though with the nikud you can do kol, so look at pasuk chaf gimel, vayomer hakol kol Yaakov va'eda midei ESAV. Hakol is spelled without a vav. Chazal tell us, the Gra tells us that hakal kol, when the voice becomes light, meaning what? When we're very weak with our voice, hayadayim midei ESAV, when we become light with it. Also a nice nuance over there. So, what happens when we become light in our service of Hashem? Meaning, if we are perfect religious Jews, we love the Torah, we love Hashem, all we want to do is be good Jews. Hakol Kol Yaakov, we're up, right? But if we're not that version of ourselves, what are we trying to do? We're sort of like, what's ESAV doing? What are they doing over there, right? So we take away from our service of Hashem, and we go and we investigate. Ooh, the Kardashians. Ooh, Miami Heat. Ooh, look at this fashion. Oh, Balenciaga. Oh. You go over there, like, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, look, colors, shapes, smells, sounds. You get busy. So you become light in the service of Hashem. So what happens? ESAV takes a look at you and says, hey, what are you doing over here? This is my side. You go over there. Because when you come to my side, you make me uncomfortable, right? Why? Because when Jews, Baruch Hashem, we excel, right? So what happens when we go to Hollywood? We own Hollywood. We take over the movie studio. What happens when we go into the music industry? We own the music industry. What happens when we get into real estate? We own all the real estate. And so hey. That's my space. You go back to be Kol Kol Yaakov. Go to the yeshiva. Go learn Torah. Go be a tzaddik. Go be a light unto the nations. Because when you're here, you bother me. And when you bother me, I hate you. And when I hate you, I want to kill you. Anti-Semitism. Don't get me wrong. It's not that we shouldn't make parnasa, that we shouldn't go out there and make money, or shouldn't be in real estate, or we shouldn't be in all the business. Absolutely. But do you have the balance? Do you have that balance? Do you have that balance? Do you work? How's your Yiddishkeit and how's your work life? Like I always say, if we have to do a pie chart, right? There's a pie chart. How much of the pie goes for sleeping? Okay, 8 hours. How much of the pie goes for working? Okay, 8 hours. No problem. There's 16. What are you doing the other 8? Okay, let's say you have to eat and go to the bathroom and make phone calls and be with the children and be with the wife. You know what? I'm going to give you 4 hours for all that. What are you doing with that 4? Is anybody here learning 4 hours of Torah? Okay, let's take it away. Listen, it's crazy, whatever. Okay. You have to watch TV. You have to watch the basketball game. Oh, you know what? I'll give you half of that 4. Half of that 4. Go see what the ESAV is doing. Do you have 2 hours of Torah under your belt a day? No. Oh, look at that. If we take that as a pie chart, your service of Hashem, a pie chart, it's a sliver. It's a sliver. You know what's a sliver? It's a small little line. Maybe you thought about it Shem before. You said, is this Yaakov or a prayer Geffen? I don't know. And you don't do it because you don't know. How much of your day is even lived out in a Jewish mindset? That's why Hakol Kol Yaakov is low and your day ESAV is big. You're like, oh, why is the world like this? Because of you. Because of you. What do you mean why? What are you doing to change it? We have a power to change it. You have a power to change it. Because you have to understand, you'll first feel the differences in your own life before you feel it collectively as Am Yisrael. Don't think you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose. You first will feel all the differences in your own life. You'll have a relationship with God and you'll feel close to the Torah and you'll be a Jew living a Jewish life, a true essence of who you are, your true identity. You won't believe how happy you'd be to be a Jew living a Jewish life. But as long as you're not doing that, don't turn on the news and be like, oh my God, what's going on with the world? How can we stop it? Oh, it starts with you. Show me your pie chart. We'll continue. Our essence, when you see that anti-Semitism is on the rise, you have to say, okay, the first anti-Semite is ESAV. Okay, what is our, what's his kryptonite? His brother. What's his brother? YAAKOV. And what's YAAKOV? Ish tam yoshev ohalim. Torah life. I saw this very interesting dvar. I want to share it with you. The Maharal Miprag, from his book Sefer Chaim, says, אין יעקב נרדף מעשיו, היודע ציד, אלא אם כן עיקר תפילתו לצורך העולם הזה. He says, you know when the Gentiles come to bother the Jews? He says, only when he comes into his world, into his realm. When the Jew wants to be like ESAV, when Yaakov wants to be ESAV, ESAV says, comes with his arrow and says, no, I'm sorry, not his arrow, that's Ishmael. He comes with his sword, he's like, get out of here, I want to kill you. You're in my world. How is it? Unbelievable. It says, Israel mitpalelim al olam hazeh. He says, if there's going to be a Jew that is going to pray, Hakol Kol Yaakov, the voice of prayer, what does he use it for? For things of this world. He says, give me kesef, give me money, give me my penthouse in Miami. He says, so if that's what a Jew's praying for, then you're praying the same prayer that the ESAV deposits to the Shamayim. Give me money, give me a penthouse. However, when the Jew lifts up his eyes to the heavens and he prays for holiness, for sanctity, to glorify the name of Hashem, to emulate God in this world, and kol umah v'lashon yochalem, there's not a single nation in this world that can lay a finger on him. Meaning, when a Jew starts to pray for the things that ESAV wants, that's the beginning of the end. But if a Jew's not praying for the right things, it's his own demise. Where do we learn this from? The bunny rabbit. He says, Arnevet nirdefet mi'ish tzayid. He says we have a rabbit that is being chased by a hunter. And when the rabbit runs and her face, the face of the rabbit is facing the earth, and she's breathing the earth, the dogs come and they're able to smell the rabbit and they're able to find it. The hunting dogs, right? However, when the rabbit runs and her face is up, she's running and the rabbit is running and the face is up, not facing down, they can't trace the steps of the rabbit and the hunting dogs can't find her. So in other words, when the rabbit's head is to the ground, they can smell her and they can catch her. When the rabbit's head is up, they can't get the scent, they can't catch her, and they can't kill her. Similarly, is the Jewish people. When their head is to the ground, to the world, to materialism, all the dogs are able to get it. Why? Because they're able to see, they're able to expose them for being exactly like them. Just like we have a pasuk in Shir HaShirim. It says the complete opposite with in Shir HaShirim. Berach dodi udme lecha letzvi Or le'ofer ha'ayalim al harei besamim. There's a pasuk in Shir Hashirim that says that actually the Jewish people are not like the rabbit and the dogs. We're different. We're like the deer. The deer. How are we different like the deer? It says when the deer runs away from the hunter, they have dogs that chase it because they also know the scent of the deer. So the deer has two options. Either it has a chance to run away, or it goes into special bushes that have a good smell, and then the smell of the bushes sort of like intermixes with their smell, and the hunting dogs can't get the smell. Meaning they can run, and their scent stays, and the dogs can catch him. Or the deer can go into these little bushes that have a scent to them, and they can hide over there, and the scent of the bushes is going to hide the smell of the deer, and they won't be hunted, they won't be caught. It says similarly is the Jewish people. In order for them to run away from the Gentiles that want to kill them, they have to go into something that smells good so they don't smell them, so they don't find them. What is that? What is that good smell? Torah learning. When you go into Torah learning, they won't find you. They won't look for you. They won't even look for you. The Jew would not be a problem. When you're here learning, they're not looking for you. But when you're in a Miami Heat game, or if you're in the mall, if you're in all these places where you're, or if you're in the business, there's that guy again. There's that guy again. When you're in the Torah life, as a matter of fact, I'll just give you another example of anti-Semitism was in Egypt. Remember, they gave us Goshen. Goshen was a place like the Jewish ghetto. It was the best part. The best part of Egypt was Goshen. Bereshit ends with us living in Goshen. We were a welcomed alien. Not a problem. Live with us. You have the best area of all of Egypt. You go to Sefer Shemot. What happens? And the Jewish people are Mitzrayim. What happened? All of a sudden we're in Egypt proper. And where are we? We're in their markets. What happens? They've been, they're in their shuk, they're in their market, they're doing their business. This guy's selling leathers, this guy's selling spices, the other one's selling, different clothing. Comes Moishi, right in front of the spice thing, exact same product with a huge sign, 50% off. The Egyptian goes home, she goes to, no, Tutankhamun, how was work today? I didn't make $1. Why? The guy next door to me, so, ran a sale 50% off, I didn't make money. Comes a week, comes a month, comes 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, that's it. There's a thorn in his side, the Jew in the market. His wife tells him, you know what, forget about the money, we have enough. Let's go to the theater. Let's go take a load off. They come to the theater to go enjoy, puts on his little leisure skirt, and he comes to go into the amphitheater. What happens? They say, 2 for me and Cleopatra. He says, sorry, all sold out. Sold out, yeah. Moshe and 176 relatives just bought the last tickets. Not at work, not at pleasure, that's it, I can't stand them. Why?
Translation?
It says, and let's wage war. Let's wage war on them before they become a bigger problem. You had the best place in the land. Go learn Torah every day. Go live a Jewish life. Why did you want a Gentile life? So this is what's happening over here. He says when you're living a Torah life, they're not looking for you. You're in the Bet Midrash. You're learning. You're in Daf Yomi. You're in Parashat Shavua class. You're doing a challah bake. You're doing a chesed. You're doing like some sort of a food run for some lady that just give her out. We can be so busy within our community. There's so much to do in Jewish life that we can be busy. But what do? We leave all the mitzvot, we'll leave all the learning, we'll do all the things that can keep us busy throughout the day, and we go into their world. Ooh, what are you doing? Oh, let me copy you, let me do like you, let me be like you. Huh? So you're in their face, you're in their eye. What do you? It's not meant to be like that. Okay, very interesting point. Doresh Tzion brings back the point of Rivka. Remember what Rivka couldn't stand? She's like, I don't want a 50-50 son. I don't want a son that's half wicked, half tzaddik. He brought it here very interesting. He says something very relevant to nowadays. He says sometimes you see a guy in shul. This guy has the longest amidah. And when he prays, he shuckles, hands in the air, clapping, closes his eyes, right? You think the guy's talking to an angel. And you say, wow, this guy really knows how to pray. Not only that, you see him, he's able to even bring tears to his eyes in the middle of tefillah. And after he puts on his tefillin of Rashi, he puts it on, he has a second Rabbeinu Tam, Hashuv. And not only that, he's constantly checking with his mirror. It's the right place, right? He's making sure that the tzitziot are what? The best ones, handmade. And of course, when it comes to tzedakah, he's always the first one to go into his pocket. You see him in shul, he is the ultimate Jew, super Jew, right? But what happens when he goes to work, right? As soon as he leaves this door, he goes to work. All of a sudden, you don't want to get close to this guy. Every check bounces, right? Doesn't pay his employees. He lies, he cheats, he orders, he sends back, he swaps. What happened over here? It says, Hakol kol Yaakov. He says, you see him acting like Yaakov in the Bet Knesset, right? To show like I am like Yaakov. But when he goes outside to the shuk, Yadai midei ESAV. His business is like ESAV. And he said, that's not, I don't want that kid. That kid I don't want. Don't be a fake. Don't be a 50-50. Be 100% legitimate Jew. Okay. In conclusion, why is this an important lesson for us to learn tonight? So, it seems like we are deep into Hevle Mashiach. Ikveta de Mashiach. It's not my opinion. And, these are dangerous words to say because you never want to be the one that says, oh, we're in the time of Mashiach and the Mashiach doesn't come, you look like a fool. Right? They always tell us, don't predict the time of Mashiach. The only reason why I'm saying is because bigger people than me, holier rabbis, giants of our generation, have come out and said that we are in the birth pangs of the Messianic era. That a lot of the prophecies have come to fruition. If you look in the prophets, we've basically checked every single box. 98% of everything that was supposed to come has come already. And there's just a few things that are in the works that you can even see them cooking as we speak.
Work in progress.
Huh?
Work
Work in progress. And I'll throw it in. Right now we're experiencing Ishmael. I don't want to go too much into the prophecies of end of days, but what happens is that Ishmael gets into the picture. ESAV gets involved, right? America gets involved. And they fight. And then they decide that, what are we fighting about? The real enemy is the Jew. And they get together, Ishmael and ESAV, and the whole world is going to be against who? Against Eretz Yisrael, against the Jewish people. Mashiach is going to come, and he's going to save us from our enemies, and then we sit down and we eat a big meal and celebrate the coming of Mashiach. So, what do we have over here? We're in Hevle Mashiach. The players on the world stage are revealing themselves. Ishmael has exposed himself fully. And we see that the other players of the prophecies are already in play. They're already in talk, they already have opinions, they're already huffing and puffing that they're going to get involved. Now, what's our defense system to our enemies? What's the defense system against ESAV? And what is the defense system against Ishmael? Well, tonight we learned it. Hakol kol Yaakov. I said earlier in the class, you have to have this lesson under your belt. You must know that you make a difference. You must know that you have power. As long as you have Hakol kol Yaakov in your home, with your children, in your community, you're making a difference. Things start to tilt. That's our power. Hakol kol Yaakov. Our shuls, our prayers, our learning, our children learning. As it says in Shir HaShirim, Ani Choma v'Shadai Lemigdolot. Meaning what? We have a fortress. We have a fortress. Our fortress is our learning. It says in Rashi, what's our fortress? Elu bate knesiyot u bate midrashim. The synagogues and the yeshivas, those are our fortresses. As a matter of fact, I should have said it a few minutes ago, but I'm going to say it here. In the coming of Mashiach, who announces the coming of Mashiach? Eliyahu Navi. There's a haftarah in Melachim Aleph, that we read it during the year. There's a pasuk over there that if it's not like going to go deep into your heart right now, then you need to come back next week. Okay? We'll work on it again. Okay? But look what Eliyahu Navi, the one who announces Mashiach, says to the Jewish people. This is the time where it was him and the Baalei Baal, right? It was the idol worshippers and against Eliyahu Navi. And they made a contest. I'll bring my altar and you bring your altar, and let's see which one gets answered. But he told the Jewish people that were idol worshippers at that time. He says, "Vayigash Eliyahu el kol ha'am." Eliyahu Navi comes to all the people and he tells them, "Vayomer ad matai atem poschim ashta seifim." How much longer are you going to be dancing in two different parties? Meaning, how much longer are you going to be acting like a Jew, going to synagogue on Shabbat, and on Sunday you're going to the church? How long are you going to be like half like this and half like that? It says, Im Hashem ha'elokim, if God is God, lechu acharav, go after him. If you're 100% sure that God is the creator of this world, and He's the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, YAAKOV, and you are the descendants of the patriarchs and the matriarchs, and you are here and you belong to that lineage, and God is your God, go in His way. Ve'im habal, but if you think that it's not the Ve'im habal, if the idolatry is really the all-powerful God, lechu acharav. What does Eliyahu Navi says? Don't be 50-50. Choose a side. What do you want? You want to be like a goy? Be like a goy. You want to be like a Jew? Be like a Jew. But no, not both. Not both. You know why? Both kills us. You know what happens when you do both? We don't move forward. We don't win. We definitely don't win, but we're constantly losing. We're constantly losing. When you choose a side, at least you don't fool yourself that you're Jewish and you're acting in a Jewish way. You'll always be Jewish because you were born to a Jewish mother. But are you making a difference as a Jew? Zero. Eliyahu Navi says, stop it. You're killing the Jewish nation. Choose a side. If God is the God, the Almighty God, go in His way. But if He's not, then go the other way. Choose. Be real with yourself. Why aren't you real with yourselves? Why are you mixed up? Why don't you know? If God is God, go in His way. If God is not God, then let's test. And that's when they put the korban on the altar, and He proved to them that the korban was taken by His altar and not theirs. And as a matter of fact, just to let you know, when He confronted them, you know what happened to those people? And He told them, can you stop being a 50-50 Jew? Can you just choose a side? They said, Velo anu ha'am. They had nothing to say. Velo anu ha'am. They had nothing to say. Today, we have nothing to say. When we see such a harsh reality, we have nothing to say. If you're not choosing a side, you have nothing to say. Because if you're choosing a side, then if you're choosing the side of, like in the story of Hanukkah, Mil Hashem Elai, whoever's Hashem for me, you're going to make a difference in your own home, in your community, in Am Yisrael. But if not, what are you talking? You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. So we have to activate this defense system. We see the Jewish people now in Israel, crazy reality. What do we do here in America? What can I do? Our brothers in Israel, they're going to take it in arms. They're going to put on the army suits. They're going to take the weaponry. They're going to go and they're going to fight physical. What can I do? I also want to help. I'm also a Jew. The old formula, elef lamate, elef lamate. That's how the Jewish people used to go to war. 1,000 people would go and fight, and 1,000 people would sit and learn. The success of the physical war on the field depended on the spiritual learning that was done in the yeshiva. That's how we went to war. 12,000, 12,000. Us actually saw Midrash, it's 12, 12, 12. 12,000 fought, 12,000 learned, and 12,000 went back and forth replenishing whatever those two camps needed. If they needed food or they needed artillery or whatever it is. That's how we worked. So they're now in Israel fighting. What's our job? We're the Elef Lamateh. We're the learning Mateh. We're the ones that sit and learn. That's how we give them power. Not to mention that there's been stories already coming back that secular Jews that didn't keep anything or at all, have come back and they said, please tell them not to stop learning and not to stop praying. Their prayers are saving our lives. We're seeing open miracles. Wait till you see the stories that come out after this war. What a Kiddush Hashem is going to be. We know the winning formula. We just forgot to use it. So it's time to dust off our Chumashim. It's time to dust off our Sidurim. It's time to take all your 8 hours that I gave you, minus 50% discount, that 4 hours, and do something with yourself. Do something for Am Yisrael. Do something for your family. Do something for yourself. Not only that, let's just say Mashiach is coming. Is he coming for you? He's coming for tzaddikim. He's coming for people that are in teshuvah. Like, are you doing anything to catch the eye of Mashiach? Is he like, oh, who's that? Who are you? Is he going to lift that velvet red rope and say, yeah, this guy, Tehillim every day. Every day, 3 parakim Tehillim for the soldiers. You get the afterlife. Are you going to be that guy? Or he's going to tell you, this guy, he was waiting for it to come all the way to Biscayne and 206. That's when he was going to act. When are you going to act if not now? In Israel, they feel it. It's palpable. You sit in a building and it's shaking. You go to sleep and there's a mega bomb blowing up. You feel, okay, I need to pray. I need to pray. Don't put your head in the sand. It's time to pray. It's time to learn. It makes a difference in your life, in Am Yisrael as well. There's no time to waste. You got to make one thing change. Tomorrow you're going to go to shul. Leave the phone in the car. Leave it. Give a good tefillah. You finish shul, don't just run out. Don't worry, 9:05, it's the same thing. One tehillim for the safety of the Jewish people. Oh, you know what? Usually I don't do this. Usually I only give 3/4 for tzedakah. Tomorrow, $5. You know why? To increase charity in the world. Because charity increases rachamim in the heavens. Do something like interact with God. Interact with your religion. Interact with Kadosh Baruch Hu. Because otherwise, nothing's going to make a difference. You have to do something. You have to tilt. Hakol kol YAAKOV. Put your voice, deposit your voice in the collective voice of Am Yisrael. This is not a time to be on mute. This is a time to be active. Finally, we are in the middle of war for our lives. If you see the Jews in Eretz Yisrael, we're fighting for our existence. Our slogan is Am Yisrael Chai. You know when we come out this Am Yisrael Chai? When we feel that they want to kill us. We say, no. You want the end of us? We're going to tell you, no, Am Yisrael Chai. We're going to live forever. The potential of Mashiach is here more than ever. Like I said, many rabbis are all in. But the Rifkai men who tell us, don't be a 50-50. By the way, by way of Hasidut, a Benoni is unbelievable. A Benoni, the one who's like a little bit of a tzaddik, a little bit of a, like the one who's struggling, the Benoni is good. But not Rivka's Benoni. Rivka's Benoni is what? Don't live a double life. This is the time to not live a double life. It's time to rediscover yourself. What would happen if I really lived a full 100% Jewish life? How exciting. Tomorrow you're a new person. How exciting. You get to, aren't you sick of your old self? Don't you want the new version of yourself? Imagine, you might like it. Try it. Do an experiment for 7 days, for 30 days. The best Jewish version of yourself. Not only will be the best thing for you, it'll be the best thing for Am Yisrael. Try it. Try it. We need it. We need it. Because it's time to commit to our true Jewish identity, our true Jewish essence, and to live out our true purpose in this life. You'd be surprised if you never lived a full, a full day as a Jew, a full week as a Jew, a full Shabbat as a Jew, all the way up. You won't believe, I can do it and I like it. I can do it and I like it. You'll see, you'll come out of it saying, I can do it and I like it. It's time to step up our game and step into our God-given Jewish role and do our share in bringing Mashiach. I know we're in Chabad and we believe that Chabad can do everything. There's so many shiluchim that over there in that picture. Unbelievable. But Hashem is waiting for you to bring Mashiach. Your own personal Mashiach and collective Mashiach. So Hashem v'ech otchem, sameach otchem. Thank you for coming. For all the new people, hopefully we see you again next week. Chodesh Tov. And please join us tomorrow on 41st. Join us for the class in Miami Beach. We have the Rosh Chodesh class. If you haven't been to this Rosh Chodesh class, I'm telling you, it's very special. It gives you the ability to know exactly how to navigate your life for the next 30 days and to really, really be focused on taking advantage of all the spiritual abundance that's available for the month. And when you grab it in the beginning of the month, the whole month is completely different. Besides the fact that the food is good also. And we have a gracious host. And Yedidah Shabbat.
I have a question.
Yes.